everyone, Ashley here, and this is my August update. We have a couple of finishes, a couple new starts, and some progress to show you. So as you can see, this is the Flying Beauties. I did a time-lapse video. So my question to you guys is, do you like time-lapse videos? And if so, I'm planning on doing them whether you like them or not, but if you're the few that enjoy time-lapse videos, you can expect to see more. I am working on taking pictures, progress pictures, lots of them, on my other projects that I've recently started, so I hope to do more, honestly, because I actually enjoy watching them myself. I think it's really fun to see a piece come to life as it's being stitched. So this happens to be the missing project I was referring to in my stash video. I looked through a crafting bin that I thought maybe I stuck it in because I was working on other stuff at the same time as this, and thought, well, maybe I cleaned it up and just threw it in there thinking I would know where it was at. That wasn't the case. I did find the original packaging for it. Then I just happened to look up and see this project roll, and I thought, you know, I never used that. It wouldn't be in there because I never used it. I thought I better check it anyway, so I unrolled it and it wasn't in there. But just to be thorough, I popped the end off and it was sitting in there. There was the floss, and it never occurred to me that the floss was missing as well, but all I had left was black back stitching, so that was easily replaceable. But I pulled the floss out and there it was, sitting down in there in this tube. So I don't know what got me thinking I needed to put it in there, but I probably stuck it in there thinking, you know, I never used this, maybe I better use it, and then I completely went back to the state of mind, I never used that, why would it be in there? This was stitched in a satin stitch, and because of the way the instructions, they weren't very clear on how to satin stitch this on Ada. So instead of going through the already pre-made holes, I actually split the fabric in between the holes to do the satin stitching on that, which was kind of a pain, but it worked out. This is what it used, and there we go. I don't know if there it goes. There's a close-up, and that's probably as good as it's gonna get. It's just it's like little opalescent strands, and they're braided together to make one thicker strand. See that? There you go. You can see they're smaller strands, and they're just they're woven together. They're braided. I wasn't sure what I was supposed to do with that at first, and then I just kind of winged it and did it. But all it says in the packaging is that it's opalescent ribbon, or it's called opal ribbon. It doesn't give any other details. It does give like a number, but when I looked it up with the number and everything, I couldn't find an exact match. So I'm not sure what it is, and then trying to find a match for it of anything it could possibly be, like a Krennic or anything like that. The pictures, you can't even tell in the pictures like what these threads look like. So I might have to just take it with me. The only local needle shop that I'm aware of that I live by happens to be Shepherd's Bush, so it gives me a reason to kind of go over there because I haven't been there in like 5-6 years. I have to take that with me and see if I can find something similar to it, and if I do find something similar, if that's something you're interested in knowing, I will be sure to let you guys know what I find out about that. All I had left, this is literally how much I had left, is just the back stitching right here of the bottom of this butterfly. And then I was supposed to do French knots on the ends of their antennas, and I didn't want to do that. I can do French knots, but it takes me a little while, and I really didn't want to mess with it, so I waited to the very end to decide, and then I figure I'm just gonna stick some seed beads. And these aren't like Mill Hill or anything, they're just basic seed beads that you get from like jewelry making kits. So that's all I did there. And my favorite part, I think, of this whole thing, besides the dragonfly wings, is the stems of the little fern leaves. I think those are so neat, because those really come to life when you put the back stitching on those in. And that was a lot of fun to do. The other finish, and I'm sorry, these are all wrinkly. I just kind of have them folded up because I don't know what I'm going to do with them. Live, Love, Laugh. And my favorite part of this is the back stitching detail. That's what drew me to buy this kit. I don't like the color pink. I'm not a fan of the color pink, but I really liked how this L looked. The colors and the back stitching on it. I loved back stitching this. And that's the weird thing, is normally I hate back stitching. I really hated it on the Flying Beauties, but on this I actually enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun. So I guess it's that love-hate relationship. So there's that. I do have an Instagram. I wasn't going to share it just yet because I wasn't sure how much I was going to use it, and then I put a few pictures up there and then I didn't use it for a year. I thought it would be fun to take pictures of all my cross stitch, progress pictures, finished pictures, and share them. And if you're like me and like to stare at pretty pictures, because it's kind of hard to look at stuff in a video for as long as you want or in as much detail as you want. My Instagram name is Sunfire, same as my YouTube channel. I'll put a link down below as well, and I'll also put it in my general, so you can just click on the little icon if you go to my channel page in the About area. I also have a Pinterest, and I use that mostly when I see neat cross-stitch patterns. I've been trying to filter out stuff that I'm not sure copyright reasons, because there's a lot of pictures that I've come across like from Etsy, people making their own patterns and trying to sell them, and a lot of those I'm pretty sure are not like legit as far as having permission to do that. So I try not to put that kind of stuff on there. I'll share my Pinterest as well, so if you're interested. A lot of the patterns on there, this is not just a wish list, this is stuff that I just think is neat overall. So it's either stuff I may eventually stitch, or it's just stuff I think is really neat and neat idea and wanted to share with everybody else. So I'll share that as well if you're interested. I started, once I finished Live, Love, Laugh, I needed a new small project to sit by my computer, and I had started this one, my progress. When I had started it before, it was last year, and I started down here. And I do realize that there's a stitch in there that's missing one leg. And then this is what I've done since I started last week. I hope this is coming through on camera, because this blue, especially up here at the top, actually you can see this really good on my end through the screen. There's two different colors of blue, in case you can't tell. There's this darker blue that's all along the top here, and then this section down here is mostly a lighter blue. Trying to stitch this, when I first started with that darker blue, I was like, oh my gosh, this is kind of hard to see. It really blends in, but in certain lighting, it really actually stands out, so it looks really good. I was a little surprised at that, but when I did start it, I was hesitant because I was looking at the picture going, this looks darker than what it should be, and I wasn't entirely sure, but I didn't have to sort the threads on this one that were already sorted, so I figured they have to know what they're doing. So that's just from last week on and off. And this is a brand new start that I wasn't planning on doing because I wanted to get through some of the older starts in my stash, but I couldn't help myself. And my husband didn't help matters with that, because when I told him, you know, I really should work on the stuff I've already started, he literally said to me, I don't care how many you have started or how many you start. So that basically was like giving me permission. So this is Bucilla 4 Seasons, and this is the start of the grass and the blossom trees in spring and part of the border. So the little green rectangle there, that's the middle, and then the blue is the border, and there's the green, the grass, and you can see the voids here. The bigger voids are the little sheep, and then I started going into the trees. And yeah, so it doesn't look like anything really, it just kind of looks odd. Actually, you know what it looks like? It kind of, that down there kind of looks like a turtle. A weird funky little turtle, and he's like crawling up to I don't know what the blue would be, I guess the water, and he's climbing up onto the grass. I don't know. Climbing up out of the water onto the grass. That's something it could be, but anyway. I don't know what the pink would be in that scenario, but yeah. So there's that, and I've actually really been taking my time with this one as well, with the stitches. And this is stitched on 28 count ivory even weave, so I really like stitching on this. So yeah, so there's that. I did make progress on this one, as much as I hate stitching. I don't know what it is, this fabric, I don't like it. It seems okay, you know, just looking at it, but when I stitch on it, it's like I don't pull my stitches tight. I pull them snug, and on this I'm barely even pulling them, and just to even get them snug, it's the threads on the fabric are like squishing together, and my stitches, I don't know if you can tell on this, you can't really tell here, but in some areas it's like my stitches just, I don't know, you tell me what you think. Like, do these stitches look weird to you or anything? I'm like kind of hurrying through this one, so I realize my stitches probably aren't the best looking, but I don't know. To me, sometimes they look really loose, even though I'm pulling them as tight as I dare, because like I said, if I pull them any tighter, they leave, and I'm not seeing any areas at the moment. But in some of the stitches I can see, you know, they're just pulling that thread together, or I mean the fabric threads together, and it just looks like they're squishing, we're squishing the fabric and leaving holes. Here's a little bit of a better view. I don't know if you can see any on here. Just figures, like right there. I don't know if you can tell, but sorry for all the moving. Right here, like this top stitch right there. You see how big the holes are? And that's just me not even trying to even pull them very tight. They're just, again, I'm sorry for all the moving, shaking. They're just I don't know. I just don't like it. Maybe it's just me and I'm just crazy. Or maybe it's supposed to look like that. I don't know. Maybe we can tell up here. I don't know. Maybe it's just because it's uneven to begin with and I don't like it. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. Since the last time you saw her, I've finished, I believe, the inside of the detergent bottle. I still got to put the lid on there. And I've done more on her. Like her shoes and her belt, and I've done her face and arms and some of her hair. I filled in most of the mirror and finished the outer part of the mirror. I've added a couple more bubbles and I've added in the outer parts of the apple. I finished the dwarf up here. It was just his head with no eyes, and so I've finished his face and filled in his body. And then the clothesline poles, I've done those. And then we scroll it. And I started to do the 3 bears, and that's in April block. Started to do 3 bears. But we did finish July, Thumbelina. I gave her little eyelashes because I think it's cute and makes them girly and all that fun stuff. And then originally I didn't have the border down here done or up the side. So I also finished the border just to have that part of the border done. Except for the little, I think there's a mushroom right here, but I figure I'll add that later. And they did release the new block, so that's what I'll be working on this month to get that one done, and then going back to do whatever. So we'll see. But Thumbelina's done. I'm happy. A little close up. I actually got her done fairly quickly. I did mess up my little water lines here, and some of the bubbles are off by 1 row, but that's okay because it doesn't really matter. It doesn't affect anything else really, and it still looks fine. So a little bit more personalization. But I actually really enjoyed stitching this block just because it wasn't so busy, like, you know, so far like some of the other ones. Everything's real close together and it's all connected, you know. It's more of a full stitched piece rather than a bunch of little things in one big window. So I actually really enjoyed this one, and I think I'll enjoy the new one because that one seems to be a lot of stuff together. There's not as much counting needed to be done to figure out where things need to go. So there's that, and I have pictures of Thumbelina and I have pictures of Live Love Laugh currently, and of Flying Beauties on my Instagram. So if you want to continue looking at those.